Hey everyone, how's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you with another episode, Coffee with Coach. Hope you're up doing well, got the mind in the right place. If not, let's definitely put it in the right place today. So going through the normal routine, and I heard something that just kind of grabbed my attention. And I really wanted to share it with you guys today because, man, it's just really good stuff. So flowing water, okay, versus stagnant sitting water. Flowing water, rivers, streams versus, just anywhere where water just isn't flowing or moving and just kind of sitting still, stagnant. Us as humans, the way we go through life can be like that sometimes, depending on where you're at in your life. And the goal is definitely trying to be flowing and moving and active versus sitting still and stagnant. Some of the things that I got from this thing was, from stagnant sitting water, what happens when it rains or you just got something that you got water somewhere that just isn't flowing, moving. After a while, because there's no movement, no flowing, there's nothing flowing through it, it starts to smell. You get bacteria, mosquitoes. It's kind of nasty, gross looking after a while. Take a swimming pool that hasn't been, that's not running, that has just got water that's just been sitting there over time. It's pretty gross looking. I've seen things like that. Versus a swimming pool that has like an active flowing system. Like I have a swimming pool in my backyard, and throughout a certain portion of the day, in the morning it'll kick on and the water fountain will come on and it'll flow. You got the jets moving and everything's flowing and moving around for a good portion of the day, and then it'll shut off. It has to do that every single day. If not, then like I said, it'll discolor. It'll get bacteria, it'll get algae, it'll smell, attract mosquitoes, cloudy looking, become infested with just things that really shouldn't be there. Parasites, bugs, just straight up nastiness, right? Like anything just where water is just kind of sitting there, it's not good, okay? It's not a healthy thing. Versus a flowing, moving, active water system, it's there's a lot of good things to it. Especially for me, with me having, it's one of the benefits of me having a swimming pool in my backyard. I enjoy every morning when I get up to just go outside and just drink my coffee or sit there or whatever and just look at it. Like I like the sound of it, the water just trickling down the water fountain, and the way that sounds, it's very relaxing, peaceful. Obviously, because there's water flowing and moving in my pool, it looks clean. It's not dirty. Like you can see to the very bottom of a 10-foot pool, because it's got an active flowing system in it versus just kind of sitting around doing nothing. It's a very positive thing. I know for me, I like nature. I like being outside. I like the ocean. I like being out in the woods, trails and stuff like that. And when you hear water flowing and you just hear it hitting the rocks or just whatever, it's just, at least for me, it's a very peaceful, relaxing, kind of calms the mind, kind of puts you in a better place. When you just go and look and go to a stream or a river, you can just see fish, different color fish. You just see a lot of, nice things versus something that's just kind of sitting there and stagnant and isn't moving. And so I think, I know, like us as humans, like when we're not moving, we're not active, we're not doing things with our bodies and our minds, it can become stagnant. And what happens when it becomes stagnant? Again, it becomes cloudy. Our mind gets cloudy. Bad things start to enter into our mind. Negative thoughts. Your body starts to break down. At least for me, like doing jiu-jitsu, I hear people all the time, they'll say, at least I hear people say, man, you do a lot. You do, I train like 3 times a day. Like today I went running, did 3 miles this morning, then I'm about to go train jiu-jitsu here in a little bit. And then I'm gonna get a little break, get some lunch, and then I'm gonna go back train jiu-jitsu at night. That's a daily thing, like Monday through Thursday. The weekend kind of tapers off a little bit, but I still train, still run, still work out. It's just not as many training sessions. But I feel like I have to, because I can only sit down for so long and be stagnant for so long, because I feel like I'm, for one, wasting time, not getting things done. Everyone needs a break. I need a break. I need rest. I gotta let the body heal up, that kind of thing. But without a doubt, I feel like if I'm sitting around for too long, that's not beneficial to me. I feel like everything that I just read off, like, bacteria, mosquitoes, nasty, gross, cloudiness, discoloration, infested with just bad things and parasites and bugs, and just being around, like other people or whatever that aren't active or not doing anything. Like it's hard for me to be around people like that, because that's not me. That's not who I am. I know the benefits of I get sore, I get tweaks and pulls and I get tired, but that's way better than just sitting around doing nothing and letting my body fall apart because it's not active. Like, we're meant to be active. We're meant to be doing something, and at 47 years old, there is just no end in sight as far as that goes, to where I just see, like, anytime soon, like, oh yeah, or at this age, or when I get to this point, I'm gonna just stop running, or stop working out, or stop doing jiu-jitsu, or stop washing my cars, or stop doing yard work, or stop doing whatever. There's just always things that need to be done, and it's just always needs to be movement, flowing, fluidity, versus just sitting around being stagnant. I see what that can do to people. I get that all the time, like as a jiu-jitsu coach and running my own school, hundreds, thousands of people have come through my doors, and one of the first things that I ask them is, why are you here? And one of the most common answers is, I want to get back in shape. I'm not active. I haven't been doing anything in X amount of years. I started a family, had kids, and I focused on them, and I focused on myself, and I let myself go, and I gained 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds or more. I don't feel good about myself. Then the list goes on of all these things that people tell me. And what's that from? From being stagnant, from sitting around. They're still active. They go to work and they take care of their families, but that's not taking care of yourself. That's not taking care of themselves. They're not doing anything for themselves, like physically, or even a lot of times mentally. You just go through the motions. You go to work, you get up, you go to work, you get up, you go to work, take care of the family, you spend time with the family, then go to sleep, and it's just a repetitive cycle. And then before you know it, you don't look the same. You don't feel the same. It's not a good feeling. You don't like the way you feel. You don't like the way you look, because of just being stagnant, sitting water. You're not doing anything. And so what happens is you get all these things that start to accumulate that aren't good, versus if you're active, and you're flowing and moving like water, taking care of yourself, eating the right foods, listening to the right things, you're constantly, you're in a constant state of like growth and movement and doing things, which is good for your body, good for your mind, versus sitting around just watching TV and just not really reading the right things, or watching the right things, listening to the right things. That's where a lot of negative, like that has to do with like why a lot of people are very negative, and they don't talk, or their self-esteem really isn't where it's at, because they're just not doing the right things. And if they were to change that and start to flow more and get more like water and move their bodies and get their minds moving in the right direction with the right things, just there's so many benefits from that, And so when I heard this, and you put that in perspective, and how like what sitting water looks like, and what grows in it, and and the smell of it, and just the dangers of like what's growing inside of it, versus something that's flowing and moving, a river, a stream, like I said, if you got a swimming pool and the water's running, the waterfall, the benefits of all that, are just like, that's what I want to do, you know? And so it's just, you know, I had someone reach out to me and they were just kind of like, man, you know, like, I look up to you. You do a lot of things. Like, how do you keep doing what you do? And one of the things I sent them was like some motivational stuff that I listen to every morning because it helps. You know, I gave an example. Like, I was working out in my garage yesterday and I put on some music and it just really wasn't doing anything for me. You know, I really wasn't feeling the pump. You know what I mean? Like, I really wasn't getting where I needed to be to get the workout to where I needed to get the workout to be. So I put on the Jocko, the David Goggins, the Eric Thomas, the compilation, the mixes that I have, and just the words that they're speaking about laziness and grind and like just not giving up, and the list goes on. It kicked in, you know. I did more pull-ups, I did more shoulder presses, I did more dips, I did more squats. Like, I felt in my mind like it got my mind moving in the right direction. Like, I like music, but sometimes it's just not the same as listening to like the positive motivational stuff. So that was my kind of suggestion, recommendation to this friend of mine, is like, man, when you're kind of in that dark place and you're kind of not really where you want to be, you got to get something to stimulate that and put you in the right place. You know, one of the things, it's in my other phone, but one of the things was, you know, like, when you don't have enough energy, when you're losing the energy, when you feel like you're losing the fight, you know, you got someone like Jocko that's like, don't do it. You know, don't allow yourself to be weak. Don't allow yourself to go down that path. That's a dangerous path. And, you know, I take that to heart. So like, yeah, I have to listen to this stuff. I have to work out. I have to run. I have to eat right. I have to go train jiu-jitsu. You know, I got to listen to the right things. I got to be around the right people so that I can battle and fight like all the things that are coming my way, you know, people or just life itself, that are always seem to try to just kind of just want to get in the way of things. I got to constantly flow in the right direction, like water, to make sure that I'm in the right state physically and mentally. And if you're not mentally and physically in the right state and you're stagnant, it's really, really hard to go through life and battle all the things that life throws your way, or people. And so, again, when I heard this, I was like, man, this is just really good information. I need to get this out, because if you're just sitting around and you're not active and you're not listening and reading the right things and you're not eating the right foods and taking care of yourself the way you should be, you know, your car isn't clean, your front yard doesn't look the way it should look, you know, your house isn't clean, you got dishes in the sink, you got a messy room, you got whatever. That's all like stagnant stuff. Like, it can't sit there like that. Like, you can't allow dishes to pile up in a sink and sit there like that. It's gross, it stinks, it's in the way, it's a messy, you know, cubicle, you know, office space, you know, just stuff's just sitting there. You need to move it and get it out of the way so that you can think clearly and have this nice clean space. Weeds in the front yard. I'm looking at out my window. You know, my grass is nice and thick and green and doesn't have weeds, and it's edged up, and it looks nice. You know, when I pull in my driveway and I walk in my house, it looks nice. It makes me feel good. I get my truck and it's clean inside and out, makes me feel good. Like, the house come inside, it's clean. I don't have to, you know, step over things to get through the house and whatever. Makes me feel good. You know, the backyard, I got the pool and everything, and palm trees and the water fountain, and it's like, those things make me feel good. But it's a lot of work to keep those things up like that. But if I don't keep them up, then what happens? Front yard looks a mess, nasty, you know, truck's dirty, house is dirty, backyard's dirty, not dirty, but just weeds everywhere. Body isn't looking and feeling the way it should. The mind isn't, man, it's horrible. So stagnant, just sitting around, like not being active, is dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. And it's just one of those things where it's not a good place to be. So if you're kind of in that state and you're not where you want to be, you definitely need to get flowing, moving, active, you know, taking care of yourself better, eating better foods, you know, stay on top of things. You know, like I said, I bring up credit scores and your finances. Like, stay on top of that stuff. Like, you start letting that stuff go, that stuff piles up, and you're next thing you know, it's a mess, it's a wreck, and it's hard to get out from because you just didn't stay on top of it and take care of it. So definitely need to be flowing and active versus sitting around stagnant, not doing anything. You know, if that's you and you come across this video and you're looking for something different and new, come check us out in Alvarez Jiu-Jitsu, man. We can help you with that. We can help you with the mental part and the eating right part. Like, there's so many students that are changing what they're eating and they're feeling better about themselves. I had a student yesterday, he's like, messaged me after class. It's like, it's amazing, like, you know, just changing your eating habits, what it can do for you and your jiu-jitsu. And I'm like, man, that's why I preach this stuff all the time. Like, some people, they don't want to hear that. They come in and I'm always talking about taking care of yourself, you know, and people come in for jiu-jitsu, they're thinking they're just going to sign up to learn some jiu-jitsu techniques and some chokes and arm bars and stuff. And then here I'm dropping all these other, you know, literature on them about taking care of themselves and eating right. They're not expecting that, but there's a huge benefit in that. Like, your jiu-jitsu will become much, much better. You can do things that you couldn't do when you're just eating cheeseburgers, french fries, and, you know, big things of soda. You know, it's a complete night and day difference when you start doing the right things and taking care of yourself. Great things happen. So flow like water, don't be stagnant, and get after it. All right, guys, catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.